So, Baruch Hashem, to this wonderful day of Hanukkah, and for the next coming up beautiful days of Hanukkah, we're going to translate this amazing story from Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, and going to try maybe, hopefully, to explain a little bit about it. Very deep. So, the year Tafkuf Samech Tet, 5,569 to creation. First day of Hanukkah. Here you see, in the first night of Hanukkah. After lighting the first candle of Hanukkah at night, a guest came to the homeowner, a visitor came to the landlord and asked the landlord, "Where do you get your living from? Where do you find money?" Veshiv lo. So the landlord answered him, "I don't have a set source of income in my house, but my living is from the world. I'm getting money from the world, from outside." And he asked him, "What are you learning?" Just was interested in what he was reading, and he answered to him. So the landlord answered the guest, and they were talking, and they went into a very deep conversation of words that are coming out of the heart. And the landlord started to desire and yearn Hashem very much. And he was thinking on how he will reach and achieve a very high level in purity and holiness. So their conversation was very holy and was based on spiritual topics. And the landlord desired a very high level that they were discussing, that they were talking. So the guest told him, "I will teach you." So the landlord was wondering and started to think, maybe that guest is not a human being. Maybe it's an angel. Maybe it's something else. But then he looked again and saw that he's talking to him like regular people talking. But then, immediately, his faith got very strong to believe in him, and he immediately started calling him rabbi. He felt that that person that he's learning from is amazing, is a very highly person, and he believed in him very much and started calling him rabbi, my rabbi. And he told him, first of all, and that is a very important thing to see and understand, the great humility, the great attribute of being humble. How humble he was, the homeowner, that he's saying, first of all, I'm asking to learn from you how to respect you. That was the first thing that he wanted to learn. After he realized he's standing and talking to a very righteous person, first thing that he wanted to know was, how will he respect him in the proper way? And then he said, for sure, no one need even to think about me defecting your honor, disrespecting you, God forbid. But even though a person can find it hard to completely not to fail in any way of being disrespectful. So, therefore, I want you to teach me how to treat you with the right honor. We can see in that preparation of this homeowner, of that person, that he was a real humble person that was really trying to connect himself to the truth. And therefore, his preparation, his willingness to surrender himself and to be a pure, humble vessel to contain Kedusha and holiness was revealed here in a very great way. And he answered him. So the guest, the holy guest, is answering him. Now I don't have time to explain you that. But in a different time I will come to you and I will teach you that. And now I need to go away. So the homeowner told him, also that thing I need to learn from you. how much I need to escort you. So you see that his intention to be 100% pure and right and to do the right thing was very solid by him. So the guest told him, right after the doorstep. You need to walk out with me right after the doorstep, not more than that. And he started to think. So the homeowner started to think with himself, how will I go out with him? Because now I am with him among other people that are in the house. But if I will walk out alone with him, who knows who he is? Because he started to sense and to feel that that person is very highly. He was afraid maybe it's an angel, maybe I don't know what, maybe something can happen. So he asked him and said, he was very honest, look what a beautiful person, and told him, I have fear to go out with you. I'm afraid to be alone with you outside. So the guest answered him, if I can do something like that to teach you and learn with you those highly things, so even now, if I would want to do something to you, who can stop me? You don't need to be afraid to be alone with me outside. I can, if I would want, God forbid, to hurt you or to do something with you, I could do that thing even now inside the house. And they went out together, v'yatza imo min hapetach, and he went out with him. And then immediately he grabbed him, the guest grabbed him, and started flying with him. So, in a way, the thing that the homeowner was afraid of happened. He took him and started flying with him. He lost his control. But it was not to any bad thing, God forbid. It was for a beautiful thing, and here we can see. And it was very cold. So that it was very cold for the homeowner. So the guest took a certain coat, a certain covering, and gave it to him and told him, take that outfit and it will be good for you. And you will have all your eating and drinking and all the good things that you need, and you will sit in your house. And he kept on flying with him. So this is a story that after a while, Rabbi Nachman of Breslev explained that body that he gave, that outfit that he gave him was a pure, holy body from heaven. He received a new body. It was not an outfit, it was not a coat or a cloak or a shirt. It was a new body. He received a new body. It's written on Moshe Rabbeinu that when he experienced the holy sight of the vision of the burning bush, so Hashem told Moshe, take off your sandals, shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. And the Zohar HaKadosh is explaining on that verse, on those words of Hashem, shal na'alecha, take off your sandals, off your shoes, that Hashem told him, get rid of your contaminated body from the leprosy of the snake, the bite of the snake. The snake, when he bite, so he passed all his contamination to all human beings. And even though Moshe was very righteous, still to stand in front of Hashem, he was not able with his contaminated body. Therefore, he had to get rid of his body, and he received a new body from heaven. And that new body, when a person is receiving such a holy body, so then he can eat and drink without eating and drinking. His body is always satisfied and full. And like we know about Moshe, that for 40 days and 40 nights, he was able to stand on Mount Sinai without eating and drinking at all. Also, Elijah the prophet was running for 40 days and 40 nights from Israel to Mount Sinai, from, if I'm not wrong, from Mount Carmel to Mount Sinai, 40 days and 40 nights, based on one eating that he ate from a certain kind of cake or certain baked food that Hashem gave him to eat. So we see that the body that we receive from heaven in a very high level of purity and holiness does not have the needs of eating and drinking like common people. And the guests continue flying with him. Meanwhile, the guy, the homeowner, looked around, and here he is in his house. Suddenly he found himself back in his house, and he could not believe that he's in his house. But then he looked, and he's talking with people, and eating and drinking with everyone, like common people are. And while he was looking at that and seeing that he's in the house, he looked again, and here he is flying as he was in the beginning. Kept on looking, and here is again in his house. Looked again, and he's flying. And for a long time it was like that. He kept on flying and flying and flying while being a normal person with his family and with his friends. Everything kept and stayed normal, but he is in a different route, a spiritual journey. Hashem is taking him high, fly high. And then that righteous man took him and put him down between two mountains in the valley. And over there he found a book. And in that book there were combinations of letters. The letter Aleph, Zayin, Chet, it's Dalet, and on. An explanation cannot explain. No matter how many years I'm going to try to explain that, I won't be able, at least not for now. Maybe after we'll receive the new body. We ordered it. It's on Amazon. It's on its way. So before that, I'm not sure that I'll be able to explain. But Rabbi Nachman is saying here that the letters of Aleph, Zayin, and Chet are Dalet together. And it was written in that book, imprinted in the book, vessels were printed in the book. And inside the vessels, there were letters. And also, inside the vessels, there were the letters of the vessels. That you can make those vessels with them. So the combinations of the letters, that with those letters you will create that vessel, were inside the vessel. And he had a great desire to learn that book. While he was looking and thinking about that, here he found himself again in his house, looked again, and here he was standing in the valley between those mountains. So he started to think what to do, and he decided to climb up on that one of those mountains. Maybe he will find a city over there, a settlement. And when he came to that mountain, he saw that there was a golden tree with golden branches, and on the branches there were vessels hanged like those vessels that were printed in the book. And inside those vessels there were other vessels, that by those vessels you make those vessels. And he desired to take those vessels, but he could not, because they were trapped, they were held on to the tree, on the branches that were crooked. So there was no way to take those out. Yet, he still didn't know how to do that. Meanwhile, he looked and found himself in his house again. And it was a great wonder. What was that? How can it be that once he is here and once he's there? And he desired to tell that to people, to his family, to his friends. But how will you tell such wonder to human beings, to people, what that no one will believe? While he was thinking about that, he looked out from the window and he saw that guest that took him to that journey. And he started calling him, asked him, please come over. So he told him, I'm sorry, I don't have time because I'm going to you right now. I'm on my way to you. So he told him, that itself is a wonder because I'm here. And how can that be that you are going to visit me? So he answered to him. So now the guest is answering big answers to big questions, and explained to him. In the time that you wanted to walk with me, to escort me to the doorstep and on, then I took from you your soul, and I gave her covering from the lower level of the Garden of Eden. from the lower level of heaven. And the spirit and the soul, and in Hebrew we have two words that in English I don't know how you divide it in this order. In Hebrew we say nefesh, ruach, and neshama. So it's spirit, another kind of spirit, and a soul. So the soul received a new body, and the spirit and the second kind of spirit, nefesh and ruach, left by you. And therefore, when you are attaching your thoughts to that body, you are there, and you're pulling illumination from me to you. But when you're coming back here to your soul that is covered with a new body, then you're here with me. And Rabbi Nachman of Breslev said on that, and I don't know from which world that person was, but for sure from a good world he is. And still it has not been finished and not over yet. Beautiful story. Thank you so much. This is the light of Hanukkah shining towards us from the wonderful vessels of Rabbi Nachman of Breslev and from the light of the candles of all the people of Israel, and especially the true, real, righteous ones. Thank you. My name is RDMC with the Muna Project, all the nations with me. Close your eyes, just breathe, see the truth. Don't chase the fake world, don't buy the fake news. Be yourself, your own true self. Don't let no one take our natural wealth. See the good, no fear, no despair. Cherish who that you are and share. Source of power from an endless spring. Light of courage in yourself, yes. They can kick you down to the ground. Hold yourself up till you are, put up your crown. King of the creator, holy soul inside. Focus on the spiritual and you shall